I listened to the David Lade and Chris Williamson podcast again yesterday, and I want to talk about like my journaling as a result of hearing that conversation, and specifically about the ego and status and success. And you may remember that I made a video about this and about this podcast a few months ago, and I sort of concluded that whatever activity you do is fueled by your ego and your success in that activity. So once you do some self-improvement, let's say you start going to the gym because you want to improve how you look and you want to become more confident, you then become obsessed with that activity, and that fuels your ego because when you hit a really good session, you feel great about yourself, or when you have a really productive day, you feel great about yourself. And then the opposite is also true, where if you have an off day, you feel terrible. And you may think, well, that's just sort of natural. That's you wanting to be successful, and that negative feeling is good in a way because it makes you do better the next day. But the really interesting point that Chris Williamson makes is that what if you just detach from that altogether and you stop taking your self-worth from external success, from how you look, from how much money is in your bank account, from how much of a party animal you are and how much people respect you or look up to you. And what if you're just content all the time with just yourself? And he makes the point that most of these external status symbols are going to leave us with age. When we get older, our looks will go away, our health will not be as good, and people around us will die. Unfortunately, it's a reality of life. So at some point, for all of us, how we look is going to change. If we take our self-worth from that is going to take a big hit as well. So I guess the difficult question is, should you start in the first place trying to develop yourself, trying to make gains in the gym, if it's highly likely that it's just an obsessive activity and it's negative because you have big, you feel elated when you do really well, but then you have big troughs and humps when you don't do so well. And if you carry on in this mindset, up until your 30s and onwards, and you're really successful and you're doing well in your career, and then when you retire, you have if you're taking your self-worth from these external things, then you have nothing going for you and you'll take a big hit. So does that mean you should just not care about it in the first place? I'm not sure, because you kind of need the experience and you need to understand what it feels like to have a big ego and to feel fueled by it. So for an example with me, I've realized recently that I take quite a lot of pride out of gratitude journaling every morning. And when I first started it, a good year and a few months ago, I think it genuinely did help me, and to list a few things that I'm grateful for, and that put me in a good mindset and leveled out my mood, because it makes you feel good, appreciating the things around you. But now I look at, I've got it right here. This is my gratitude journal, and it's just 4 sentences every day that I write. And this whole book is nearly full now. So I look at this and I'm like, damn, look at this. Like, look how much personal development I've been doing, and look how almost like morally superior I am because I'm doing this every day and I'm thinking about things that I'm grateful for, which is a good thing. So literally any activity, even which is supposed to be good and like helping your mental health, can be fueled by your ego. So I've decided this morning I didn't gratitude journal. I think and I'm gonna switch it with meditation because that practice sort of went out the window for me. So I'm gonna go back into meditation, I think, because that is a lot more in line with like being present, and also just accepting that you have like your mind and your body, and these will like stay with you forever, but like achievements will sort of come and go. You can still attach yourself to meditation, because if you have like the mentality of what streak can I get in a row, then that can be problematic. But I guess, I mean, I haven't tried it properly. I need to get back into the habit of doing it, and then we'll see how it goes. You don't know until you try things. I was journaling about it, and I thought, you know, when I started gratitude journaling, it was a good thing, and it was a good thing that I tried it, and it did genuinely work at the start. But now, I wake up and I feel good anyway. After I have a cold shower, do I really need to gratitude journal? Like, is it serving me? And I came to the conclusion that probably not. It's just fueling my ego by like seeing how big my streak is. Yeah, and the main point, which is really difficult to try to achieve, is to detach yourself from your ego completely, and to not feel a sense of self-worth from your external achievements and your external success. But like, how do you do that? How can you, like, because I'm a naturally competitive person, and you could take table tennis as an example. Like, the other day I lost a match at the club um, against this kid who's like 13, and he's only been playing properly for about 6 months, and he beat me, and it was like it was really frustrating for me, and I actually like really felt it and felt pretty terrible about myself, because I knew how much work I'd been putting into table tennis, how much training I'd been doing. I'd been playing at uni for 2 full years and going to every training session, and I come to every training session back home, and then I've just like I wasn't concentrating, and that's why I lost. So I was like beating myself a bit, saying like, why weren't you concentrating? So how can I get out of that mindset and be like, it doesn't matter if I lost? Like, it's really hard to imagine for me. Like, I would be fine if I lost if I was trying my hardest and if I was focusing, but I wasn't. So maybe that's the issue. Maybe if I go and play table tennis, and I really try and focus in every match and focus on every point, then if I lose, I can be like, oh, it doesn't matter, you know. We have good days, we have bad days, but that's the same with mental concentration, I guess. Maybe some days like you can't focus as well as others, which is true. So I suppose I've got to take that into account too. And it also links with this great song by Billy Joel called Vienna. And I've loved the song for ages. Like, the tune is really good, and then because I like had a good phase of listening to it a lot, you after a while of listening to a song, you actually listen to the lyrics properly, and then it's talking about like, dream on, but don't imagine they'll all come true. And when will you realise that Vienna waits for you? And I looked up, like, when I had properly listened into the lyrics, I looked up what Billy Joel meant by Vienna, and he meant, it's like a personification or a metaphor for, I think he went to Vienna and he visited, and he was quite surprised at all of these, like, quite quaint houses, quite small houses, and like cobbled streets, and he saw lots of elderly people like sweeping the streets with hunched backs and almost like still appreciating life. And the whole point is that of the song, I think, is to bring your expectations down, to not be as ambitious, because Vienna waits for you. And in the end, all of us will be in that situation where we're almost just left with ourselves. Like, we have our mind, we have our body. Our body is like not, well, you could say not as valuable as it was. We've peaked, and then you go down, and you have ailments, and that's going to happen to all of us. So he's saying, so the part of the song is like, slow down, you're doing fine. You can't be everything you want to be before your time. That's another, like, it's crazy how sometimes in life, it's like you've always known the lesson before the lesson comes around. Like, I've been listening to this song for, it feels like around 2 years now. And then I've just like been listening to this podcast. Re-listened to it, and it's exactly the same. Like, if you extrapolate from the song, it's like exactly the same points, that these external status symbols shouldn't like govern your life, and you shouldn't take your self-worth from it, because they'll all disappear eventually. But the lyrics of you can't be everything you want to be before your time, that's like the idea that we all, like, we get fed this dream that we all are able to achieve anything we want. But I don't think, this is another point from Chris Williamson, and I agree with him, I don't think you can be everything you want to be. You can pick a few things and be a very talented person in that if you put the work in. But if you want to be like do and be everything you wanted to be, then it's too much, and you spread yourself too thin. And I've sort of realised this too. Like, I've been doing some reflection, and I've been trying to invest for the last few years, invest my money, and I realised I just haven't, like, I've spread myself too thin. I can't give it the time that it deserves, and it's also like just quite a difficult thing to do as well. But I think when you do decide that you need a lifestyle change, don't beat yourself up for being silly and believing this in the past, because like, we all change, and the habits that you do and activities that you do change over time. But yeah, I find that I have just been juggling too many things recently. I think it's because it's the summer and I don't have uni work. So I've been doing this YouTube channel, I've been playing table tennis, I've been going to the gym, I've been checking my investments every morning, and also, deciding what funds I want to buy and sell. That comes in part with listening to like a monthly teleconference and reading blogs about investing. I've been seeing friends and family, and like all of that on top of trying to be a generally good person, like being a good family member, being a good friend, and also reading for uni and listening to podcasts. It's just like pretty ridiculous when you list it all out. So I think I've decided that I'm going to carry on playing table tennis because I think that I take more joy from playing table tennis because it's a very technical sport. And I'm going to sort of sideline the gym a little bit. But what I've been trying is more intense workouts. So not as long, like time in the gym. Like when I first started going to the gym, I would take like a good hour and 15, hour and a half in the gym. And the other day I managed to bang one out in 25 minutes. Fastest ever. Just like doing one set of each exercise and going to absolute failure. And then like I found that I feel, obviously feel it more because you're going to absolute failure, but in comparison to doing 3 sets and not properly going to failure, the next day you feel it a lot more too. So it's a win-win. Time efficient. I think you're stimulating your muscles more, even though you're putting less volume in. So I'm going to. When I was at uni last year, I would go to the gym in the morning, and then I would also play table tennis when there was training on in the evening. And I'm thinking, no, I'm just not going to do that, because I need time to read and study and think about these YouTube videos and be introspective, because you need time to journal and to be reflective as well. So I think I was just fitting too much in and trying to be everything that I wanted to be before my time. So just pick a few things and be happy with that. I think the concept of like detaching from your ego definitely goes hand in hand with meditation. From the podcast, I think David Lade was saying that it's a concept in Buddhism, and the Buddha says that attachment is a bad thing, and you shouldn't attach yourselves to external things. And Yoda even says it in Star Wars too, when Anakin comes and he's like, "Oh, I've been having these premonitions." And then Yoda's like, "Is it a friend you speak of?" And he's like, "Yes." And then it's like, train yourself to, I can't remember exactly what he says. But he's like, train yourself to not fear losing this person, or to basically train yourself to not be attached to this person. So that's what I'm going to try and experiment to do. Try to not. I mean, it links to success as well. It's attachment to success, really, because anything that is like societally supported, like creating a business and making lots of money, or building muscle in the gym, or getting with lots of girls, or anything, I suppose. I mean, you could, not sure about getting good grades. That probably is actually a good thing to do. But all of those things I mentioned, they're all linked to success and your attachment to success. And then if you attach yourself to success when you're not successful, which like everyone has off days, then you feel terrible, which isn't great. And the point at the very start of the podcast was that David Lade is like incredibly aesthetic. He's got like one of the best physiques ever. No, he's not. He doesn't go for any like pro bodybuilding competitions, but like he's got a good physique, and he made the transformation videos very early on, and they blew up like a good 7 years ago, probably. And from that, he's obviously like got a great physique, but he had, from building up the physique and having the exposure online, he had body dysmorphia from it, and he wouldn't show his body in public. He would wear a hoodie because he felt insecure, even though, just because he knew on certain days that he's not at his peak. But that's the same with everybody. You're not going to be in peak form all of the time. It's because he would take photos with incredible cameras in incredible lighting after he's got a pump in the gym, and that is his peak look. So then when you wake up and you haven't slept well and you've got like black circles under your eyes and you're feeling groggy and you go to uni, you don't want that. Like, you don't feel, you don't want to show it, and you feel insecure. So, and that's true with every kind of success. I think you're going to have off days because you just can't be your peak all of your time. So the challenge is to detach from that and be content just with who you are. Be content with not being enough. Be content with not being successful. Be content with not having an obsessive activity that you're striving, like an obsessive activity that you're trying to become better at. And this is really tough for me. I know I'm saying this, but I'm playing in a table tennis tournament on Sunday. And, I train multiple times a week. Am I obsessed with table tennis? Probably, to an extent. But I just need to try and detach my mood away from whether I win or lose, I guess, and just enjoy it for the sport, enjoy it for moving my body and trying to use my mind to come up with tactics and appreciate everybody who's around me and enjoy it for what it actually is. That is all what I have, really. I would highly recommend you watch the podcast, because I watched it the first time. I made that video about it a while ago, but not everything went in because they're talking so quickly and using quite complicated language. So I rewatched it, I re-listened to it and paused it after they made a point. There's 2 blog posts that they spoke about that I need to read. Maybe I'll get some more insight from those blog posts and I can make a follow-up video. But yeah, I'm playing a tournament on Sunday, so hopefully I'll be able to get some footage and do another table tennis analysis video for Tuesday. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and put something in the comments if you have any thoughts about this. Is it a bit extreme to try and detach yourself away from success and external status and materialism? I'd be interested to know what you think. Goodbye and have a good rest of your day.